It's that day again, Foxtrots. A big banner in a gacha game that a lot of people are hyping up, telling you to save your precious in-game currency to pull and hope that you get the meta-defining thing. Hi Foxtrots, it's me Inari Yoko, and I'm here to share my brief thoughts on the Kitasan Black banner in particular, but also for other gacha games and gacha pulling philosophy. Now, regardless if you are free to play or not, when a meta-defining banner comes up, that question will pop up for most if not all people. Do I have enough for it? Or, alternatively, do I save for it? Now, the latter being something that you might be ridiculed for even just asking. Now, first off, let's deal with some facts about the Kitasan Black SSR support card that people have been heralding as the salvation of all trainers in Umamusume. Now, Kitasan Black as a card was meta in Japan for about 2 years, and till now, it is still a very strong popular card. Now, for those who need a hypothetical metaphor, imagine a scenario where Miyabi or Astra Yao from ZZZ were still not just viable, but are top tier even in 3.x of ZZZ. We are currently in 2.x, and both of those units are still very strong and meta. Now in Wuthering Waves, Shorekeeper remains one of the most recommended characters to pull for or to pick if ever there was a character picker, and Yinlin's weapon remains one of the best weapon investments because of the power of that weapon, the stats, and the versatility and how flexible it can work because nearly every character can fully utilize it. Now, before we go on, just a brief disclaimer. This video is not about whether or not you should pull for Kitasan Black or not. This video is not about that. This video really aims to just elucidate, I guess, or bring to light perhaps, the thought process when it comes to pulling something, especially when it is a meta banner in a gacha game. So Kitasan Black as a gacha power has insane staying power, on top of it being really strong. Now, in my opinion, an acceptable staying power for something or someone to be meta should at least be no shorter than a year. This means, for example, you look at the kind of gimmicks and strength that Chuyen had compared to Ishen. It is a huge difference, but that's practically a 1-year difference, and it is to be expected. The difference between Chuyen and Ishian can be put to like a document or analysis, but people will have their opinions, but that's a given. That a character that released 1 year will always have a lot of things better than a character that released a year before. Now, in a gacha game, really most people hope that what is meta for more than at least a season, right? Or 3-6 months. For me personally, my hope is that it's really strong for at least a year, and then after that, maybe not like their power dwindles, but like someone will be more OP than them. So one interesting thing to note, however, in Umamusume, don't forget that we can borrow cards from other people. Even if you do not have Super Creek or Fine Motion, you can look for a friend or mutual that does and borrow from them. Now, the reason why people roll for support cards in particular over Umas is because of several factors. Now, for example, cards favor particular things: race length, race strategy, and of course the stats that they provide. Each card specializes in either a race length or a racing strategy or both. Now, Kitasan Black's skill mostly favors frontrunners, but the trademark gold skill is usable for anyone. And Kitasan Black is a speed card. And don't forget, speed is the king of all stats. Like, it literally has 12 billion reasons why you'd want to pull for her. But at the end of the day, if luck is not on your side, you would get at best 1 copy. And if you want to fully utilize the card, you need to get more dupes. But ultimately, this is still something you can borrow if you are not lucky. Now, as for Uma banners, we are getting Anime Teo and Queen. Now, skills aside, Umas are the main characters of the game, and we cannot borrow Umas to train. We can borrow Umas from other players for legacy, parents, right, to inherit their sparks or their skills, But if you want to train Biwa Hayahide, for example, you cannot borrow someone's Biwa Hayahide to train and make a veteran Musume out of it. Now, a friend of mine always gave me one piece of advice in Wuthering Waves in particular, and I apply this in all gacha games that I play. Prioritize the character, not the weapons. I do this in every gacha, and I understand now, in particular, why. Now, I have cleared Ura Finale with non-LB, SR, SSRs, and even rare cards. And this means that what I essentially had to do is this game's version of, well, get good. I really had to maximize my training, and I had to be very efficient with spending my energy. I had to learn how to fully utilize my Uma's strengths and understand their weaknesses and adjust. And ultimately, I could always borrow Kitasan Black from others if I wanted a little gacha power, and if I wanted to make my career modes a lot smoother and a lot easier. Now, support cards in this game, after all, fulfills one ultimate goal: to train your Uma to succeed in career. Now, regardless of what quirky strengths and weaknesses your Uma has, your cards are there to help you. Now, the less meta your cards are, the better you have to get, right? And I think that is a fair trade. Your one saving grace, however, is that there will be at least one card in your deck that is busted or OP as hell, because so many people are pulling for the meta cards, Kitasan Black included, that there won't be any shortages of those to borrow from. Another aspect is that long endgame is building perfect parents. Now, the funny thing is, your performance in Ura Finale will not really affect that. You can fail even before you reach Ura, but if you have at least one stat at 600, you have a chance to 3-spark that. This happened to me thrice already. 2 of my 3 sparks were on Uma's rated C+, just before I could reach the Ura Finale. And RNG was on my side because at that time that it did check for 3 sparks, my stat was at 600. So having high LB cards, especially SRs and SSRs, will help you reach 1200 range of a stat a lot easier. But the absence of those can be remedied to some extent with proper spark parents and RNG as well for like rainbow training during summer camp. And you know, that is something you don't really spend real currency for, right? Like you can get your own 9 spark parents or borrow one, but eventually if you play the game long enough, you'll have your own and you don't really have to spend money for it, in-game money. And it's mostly luck based. It really is, because like I said, your performance, at least for now, it has been proven basically that it's mostly luck. The game will randomly give you a spark of any of your 5 stats, and the chances are even. It's 20%. And then it checks, like, is it 600 or is it 1100? If it is 1100, then there is a higher chance that it will get 3 sparked. But if it's at least 600, there is a chance. So, be it a Sentinel Resonator in WoWa or a Void Hunter level agent in ZZZ, ultimately, it's up to you. It really is up to you, really, where you put your value in your pulls, money, characters, and time. Not having Chuyan's weapon, for example, means you'll have to get good, but you are happy that you have her, right? You could have passed her banner, saved up for Miyabi some dupes of her and her weapon, but is that really what sparks joy for you? You could have Fine Motion, Super Creek, and Kitasan Black, all 3 limit break fully, max LB, making your career runs much easier. And finally, you get your A, your S rank rated Uma with like insane sparks. But is it on an Uma that you actually want? Ultimately, like I said, it really is up to you. I've seen so many videos and posts saying why you should pull for Kitasan Black, why you should save up, why you should pass on this and that banner, why you shouldn't have pulled during Mihono Bourbon and Biwa Hayahide. They are not wrong. But do take into account, at the end of the day, Despite facts being part of their reasoning, it is still very much opinionated in terms of value, right? Your definition of fun is still different from theirs. What you value is also different from theirs. If you are miserable or disappointed or regretful that you have an LB3 Kitasan Black, but you don't have anime Teo or McQueen, those those people who advised you to pull for Kitasan Black and are, clapping their hands, praising you for being technical and wise with your decision to save, right? Not being greedy and stupid, they'll probably borrow your card if they do not have it. And you cannot produce veteran Umas of anime Teo or McQueen. They probably could if they have. Now, true, both Umas and supports do go to the standard banner pool once their featured banner is over, but the odds of getting them are much lower. So you ask yourself, what do you value? Do you value Umas more or support cards? Like, there are a million arguments that will support Umas are more valuable, supports are more valuable. None of them are wrong. But again, my emphasis for this video is that I want your decision to be, as much as possible, your decision, right? Because luck, RNG, money, having this Uma or that Uma, having this card or that card, we have very little control over some things in Umamusume. But what you have control of is whether to pull or not. That control is a luxury, and that is something that you should not give away easily. So you really should grab hold of that control. Once you have a definitive answer of what you value, pull for what your heart of hearts tells you to pull. If both have some amount of regret, if you pick one over the other, choose the decision you will regret the least. I sincerely hope this makes you decide what to do, like to pull for something on this banner or skip further down the line. You are not greedy or stupid for pulling or not pulling. After all, it is your account, it is your game, it is your money, and it is your time. All are precious Umas in the anime pick, right? Which team they want to join. And there is a reason the main team in the anime is Team Spica. The trainer's philosophy embodies one of the purest mentalities I align with, and that's balancing what the trainers want, the trainees, right? He balances what the trainees want and need. I don't want my Umas to just win. I want them to run happily. That's my philosophy. If they can truly do that, I am happy as well. You have to figure out what your mentality and what your philosophy is and align that with the decision that you are about to make. Happy training, Foxtrots, and may the pulse be in your favor.